Have you ever sat down to work and 2 hours later you realize you've accomplished basically nothing? You're not alone. It feels like our ability to just concentrate is slipping away in this world of constant pings and endless scrolling. But what if I told you that reclaiming your focus isn't some impossible task? Today, we're going to dive into the science of how your brain works and give you a powerful toolkit to get that focus back right when you need it.
All right, let's start with a little test, a quick challenge. I'm going to list 7 words. All you have to do is remember them in the right order. Ready? Here we go. Apple, train, market, banana, school, camera, and garden. Got 'em? Hold on to that list for a second. If that felt even a little bit tricky, there's a pretty startling reason why. Recent studies have found that the average human attention span has dropped to just 8 seconds. Yeah, you heard that right. 8. That's actually less than a goldfish. We're literally being rewired for distraction. But the good news is, it's not a permanent condition. So to fix this problem, we've got to understand what's actually happening inside our heads when we get sidetracked. Let's peel back the curtain on the science of distraction. It really all comes down to this one powerful chemical, dopamine. See, every time you check a notification or swipe to a new video, your brain gets a tiny little hit of this feel-good stuff. It's a quick, easy reward. But here's the catch. Your brain starts to crave those quick hits, making the deep, satisfying focus required for real work feel, well, boring in comparison. So what happens when you try to do something that doesn't give you that instant reward, like studying or working on a big project? Well, your brain slips into what scientists call the default mode network, or DMN. This is basically your brain's screensaver mode. It's when your mind starts to wander, you think about what you're going to have for dinner, or you start worrying about something from yesterday. It's the brain's natural tendency when it's not actively engaged. You can think of it like this. Your brain is in a constant tug of war between two states. Over here on the right, you've got that distracted default mode network. It's noisy, it's chaotic, it's full of mind wandering. But on the left, you have its opposite, the task-positive network. This is your focus zone. It's goal-oriented, it's quiet, and it's where real problem-solving happens. The goal, then, is to learn how to consciously flip the switch from distracted to focused. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Now that we know the why, let's get to the how. Here are 5 incredibly simple, science-backed methods you can use to pull your brain out of that noisy, distracted state and into deep focus, like right now. We're going to start with a physical posture reset, then move into controlled breathing to calm your whole nervous system. After that, we'll talk about the 60-second eye lock, the clean environment rule, and we'll finish with a really cool mental trick called the 10-minute more rule. Let's get into it. First up is the posture reset. And I know, it sounds almost too simple to work, but the science here is crystal clear. When you physically sit up straight, you're not just looking more attentive. You are fundamentally changing your body's chemistry. You open up your chest, which lets your lungs pull in more oxygen, which in turn feeds your brain and actually lowers your stress hormones. And the proof is pretty amazing. Studies show that when people are slumped over, their bodies produce significantly more of the stress hormone cortisol. Just by sitting upright, you create a real biological shift toward a state of calm and alertness. You know what? Try it right now. Wherever you are, just sit up straight. I bet you can already feel a tiny shift. Okay, method number 2, controlled breathing. People have been doing this for thousands of years, and now science is catching up to why it's so powerful. When you deliberately slow down your breathing, you send a direct signal to your nervous system that says, hey, it's safe to relax. This boosts something called your heart rate variability, or HRV, which is a key biological marker of a mind and body that are calm, resilient, and ready to focus. And it's so easy to do. Just follow these steps. Inhale through your nose, nice and slow, for a count of 4. Gently hold that breath for a moment. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. That's it. Just doing that for 60 seconds can completely reset your mental state. Now, our next 2 methods work together, and they're based on one simple, unbreakable rule of focus. Wherever your eyes go, your attention follows. Your visual world is your mental world. So if your eyes are darting all over the place, guess what your brain is doing? The exact same thing. So how do we wrangle our eyes? Technique 1 is the 60-second eye lock. Just pick a single, non-moving spot in front of you. A dot on the wall, the corner of a book, anything. And just stare at it for 1 full minute. Don't look away. Think of it like doing a bicep curl for your attention muscle. The second technique is the clean environment rule. Just look at your workspace right now. Is your phone out? Each one of those extra items is a potential hook for your distraction.
Get rid of everything that isn't absolutely essential for what you're doing. A clear space really does lead to a clear mind.
All right, our fifth and final instant method is a brilliant little mind trick for when you hit that mental wall. It's called the 10-minute more rule. The second your brain starts screaming, I can't do this anymore, I'm done, you just make a simple deal with it. You don't say, I have to work for another hour. You just say, okay, brain, just give me 10 more minutes. It's such a small, non-threatening commitment that your brain usually agrees, and it's shockingly effective at getting you over that hump. And you'll be amazed how often 10 minutes turns into 20 or 30 without you even noticing.
So, those 5 methods, that's your immediate toolkit for winning the moment-by-moment fight for your attention. But to build real, lasting concentration, you need a long-term strategy. You have to learn to work with your brain's natural energy cycles, not against them. And that brings us to an incredibly powerful system, the 90-20 rule. We all kind of know about the 90-minute sleep cycles our brain goes through at night. Well, it turns out our brains operate in very similar cycles of focus and fatigue during the day. Scientists call them ultradian rhythms. And the research is pretty clear that for most people, the sweet spot for peak high-quality focus lasts for about 90 minutes. Trying to be a hero and push past that isn't a sign of discipline. It's a recipe for burnout. Here's how you actually use it. You start a session of deep work. Your focus will naturally build and then peak somewhere around the 60-minute mark. After that, it starts to fade. So, at 90 minutes, you stop. And this is crucial. You stop because it's the rule, not because you're exhausted. Then, you take a full 20-minute strategic break. And strategic means you completely unplug. No emails, no phone, go for a walk, stretch, listen to some music. Let your brain actually recharge before you start the next cycle.
So, what's the big picture here? What does all this add up to? It means that in our incredibly distracted world, the ability to control your own attention, well, it's nothing short of a superpower. You are not just a passenger in a brain that loves distraction. By understanding the battle between your dopamine cravings and your focus networks, and by using simple physical tools like posture and breathing, you can take back control. You can systematically train your ability to concentrate, just like you would train any other muscle in your body.
And really, that's the most important thing to take away from all of this. It's a simple idea, but it's profound. Focus isn't this magical state you have to wait for or hope to find. It's a skill. It's a practice. It's not something you find. It's something you train.